it started with me as a kid sitting on the floor, standing on the seat, on my seat, watching like, I don't know, I think it was Ted Nugent and Pat Travers yeah. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching Tommy Aldrich, who's another drummer, who's quite a badass. And I'm watching him just murder shit on the drums. And I'm looking around and I see people going to get a beer, going to buy a t-shirt, going to the bathroom. I'm like, what the fuck? This is bullshit. And it hit me right then that the reason people are losing interest or breaking away for the drum solo is, here's this guy, he's got big crazy curly hair and he's just wailing, but he's behind this wall of drums and you can't really, at the end of the day, see what he's doing. You can't see what his feet are doing. Every once in a while you see a stick flying, but that's about it. You can't really see what's going on. And he's murdering shit. And I was like, I gotta figure out a way where people can see what's going on. You know, it's like, you know, I'm like, if they could only see from behind what was happening. So, God, this is the first Motley drum riser, was this rig that tilted up this way from your audience perspective, because I wanted to give them a basically they'd be looking down, a bird's eye view of what's really going on. You can see your feet going, you can see what the guy's actually doing. And that's what started this whole nightmare. Was I was just trying to figure out a way to let people in behind the drum wall. And that's where we're at now. It's gone from that to in a cage, spinning cage, to working with David Copperfield, making the drums, you know, blow up and disappear, to the roller coaster, to a different 360 roller coaster. So it's just been a long evolution. And it's usually myself and production manager starting on cocktail napkins. Dude, here's what we should do, bro. Oh, that'd be fucking rad. And then it turns into, and this monster behind me, and we're sitting there like, oh yeah, it's gonna be sick, man. It's gonna go up one level, go up 2 levels, and like 65 feet, it'll go into its first roll and dip under the scoreboard and then back all the way to the back of the arena. And we're sitting there, we're drawing this out. We're like, dude, that's gonna be the sickest shit ever. And then that day comes when you walk in and it's, 2 months later, it's all built. First day of pre-production rehearsal, you walk in and you go, what the fuck have we done? This is way bigger than it ever looked on paper. And a guy like me doesn't get scale. You're like, oh no, this is gonna be killer. And you walk in and you see the real deal and you're like, fuck, I gotta do this every night. What have we done? Thanks, guys, appreciate it. But it's sick, man. It's so sick. And people they're like, what's it like up there? And you can't really explain that unless you ride it. Because basically you're fighting gravity the entire way. So if I'm doing my job correctly, I'm making it look easy, but it's fucking hard as fuck. I mean, I'm fighting, pushing up, sideways, upside, like it's fucking gnarly, dude. And I gotta do this shit every night. But after, I think it's about 8 minutes, forward and back after 8 minutes, by the time I'm done, I'm a fucking mess. I'm a mess. I'm just sitting there with the oxygen. Because you can't breathe too, you're strapped in, so you can't really get a bunch of oxygen. And I'm basically holding my breath the whole way, just, it's gnarly. It's fucking gnarly. The first time we actually made the drums go upside down, everything changes. Drums obviously weren't meant to be played upside down, they're meant to be set on the ground. So when you flip everything upside down, if you can imagine the drum pedals, the bass drum pedals, they're on chain drives. And so when you go upside down, they fall. So that's not good. So we had to put these springs in there to keep them taut. The cymbals, the hi-hats here, the bottom cymbal is kind of freestanding and the top one's spring-loaded. Well, when you go upside down, that bottom free cymbal now just goes and so the hi-hat doesn't work. So we had to mod that. I got to tuck my shoelaces in because they get caught when you're spinning around. Like everything changes and it's gnarly. I'm like a fucking stuntman, dude. That was definitely the plan was let's build something so sick that this will probably never ever be done again. I think we achieved it.